Monster Hunter is a game I really want to like, but there are just some things that don't work for me. As of now, I have around 230 hours on the game, and I feel like that's giving it a fair shake before coming up with my own opinion. World was also my first Monster Hunter title, and I have since played Rise Sunbreak, Wilds, and GU, though far less GU than the others. I'm going to go why I really would like to have liked World, but just can't seem to like it as much as my friends and all the people on the internet. Everything I say here is, as usual, just my opinion. And if you disagree, well, you're obviously wrong. So, I also speak as a bow main. I have tried all the other weapons at least once, and bow is just what I like the most. First, let's talk about the combat, which is where I find I had the most friction with this game. I had a lot of trouble at first getting terms with the combat and the controls, but now that I'm a bit more comfortable with them, I find I still don't like it as much as I would like to like it. I have one big problem with the melee weapons, and three big problems with the bow. The problems with the bow is not as big as my problems with melee weapons. I have not used bow guns, and I do not intend to use them at all, if I can help it. Anyway, first, let's talk about why I chose bow. First, I like the bow's weapon. Second, my big problem with melee weapons is that I find it really abrasive to use. I mean, the fact that I can't aim where the camera is, but where the character is facing. This is one of the hardest things for me to overcome, as primarily an M&K player and come from games like Elden Ring, where Lock On took care of that. So yeah, I will say with focus mode in Wilds that I'm having a much better time. In fact, I use Greatsword the most. So anyway, that's my main problem with the melee weapons. Now, are my chosen cult the bow? I dislike that the coatings are consumables. We have like 20 of the status coatings, and that can proc ailments from approximately 0 times to once, depending on your matchup and build. And we can carry enough raw materials to craft maybe another 20 of each type, which may or may not allow another proc the ailment. Again, depending on matchup and stuff. Also doesn't help that I'm a bit of a hoarder. Yes, I am the type to not use any consumables the whole game, even past the final boss. Wilds fixed this as well, hence why I'm having much better time there. And yeah, next is the stamina issue. Everything the bow does requires stamina, which makes sense to me coming from games like Elden Ring, everything uses stamina. But I mean, that also means that if you don't play the bow perfectly, you're going to run out of stamina. You're going to spend a lot of time roaming around, waiting for your stamina, sometimes even with dash juice. And speaking of, dash juice is basically a necessity. It's like whetstones to the Blade Masters. And it's a limited resource, which means, like the coatings, you gotta have to restock it. And it's not easy to farm that shit either, I think. I don't know, didn't really farm it. Anyway, 5 Constitution and 3 Stamina Surge. Also pretty much necessity if you're not playing like a speedrunner or like at the highest levels. And that like takes up approximately 4 rank deco slots if you have the right decos. I'll get into that later, but yeah. And yeah, that's really annoying. Stamina's a huge problem. Anyway, and the last thing that I don't like is the sheer amount of animation lockout after each move. Like after Dragon Piercer, sure, that's fine. It's a long move, like a final move kind of thing, sure. But and it's not even the animation itself that I have a problem with. It's after the animation is done playing. There's like a whole ass second where even if you make any inputs, your character just doesn't do anything. And it's just really annoying to play with. And again, while I am used to all of these things now, it still makes the game less than pleasant to play. But there is a lot about the game that I do like. And for that, I don't mind putting up with all these things that I don't like about the combat. Coming to the stuff that I do like, the monsters. This is what got me to stay with the game the second time. Hats off to Oceanus and his ecology videos. They're frankly amazing and highly recommend that people watch them if they haven't already for some reason. So, anyway, the monsters are great. I love most of them, and some of them can fuck all the way off. Especially the damn monkeys. Damn monkey won in this game. Yeah. Most of the monsters are pretty tight. They're really good. The rest of them, yeah, it's a good time, shooting arrows at them. Pretty fun. My favorite part about the monsters is the fact that they interact with the environment. And that's far more than most games give their creatures and monsters and stuff. The turf wars, absolutely cinematic, fantastic, really hilarious at times. The people like bigger monsters eating the smaller monsters, fantastic, love that, especially like when they're tired and stuff. And I really like the design for the monsters, at least most of them. Honestly, the most disappointing one for me was Safi, since Xenogy was like the whole blue thing of the like ghostly, semi-translucent gimmick was really cool, and Safi is just, oh, it's a red dragon. Sure, he's got like those sparkly bits on his wings and stuff, but it's not nearly as cool as Xenogy, man. Come on. A main issue with monsters are pretty much two things: the hitboxes and the damage. I think hitboxes are pretty self-explanatory. Come on, please, just for the love of God, make the hitbox match the animation. Or at least try. I mean, like if you've played Monster Hunter before, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You know? Hitbox, hit the... Yeah. And as for the damage, this might be just a bow problem. I'm not sure. But given that bows have, take more damage, the ranged weapons take more damage. But yeah, I also feel like things just hit too hard. Like going defensive isn't really an option, and it's just not as valuable. You can't be like, okay, I'm gonna go defense. I mean, this like you could possibly, and maybe you can go with lance or something, but as a general option, not as viable. I'm thinking this this might be like, because I play like in a lot of other games, like in RPGs, building tank is a viable strategy. You can like out tank the creature while still dealing whatever damage. And like right now it's pretty much okay, you just need to get enough defense and stuff so that you don't like get one shot, and like maybe you can build for blight resistance like the elemental blights and shit, but apart from that it's just like there's not much value to have the defensive stats because the monsters just hit so damn hard. Again, though, this may be more to do with game balance and less to do with monsters themselves. Yeah. Apart from that, the monsters don't really have too many like, oh bullshit gotcha moves. I mean, there are of course some of them, but most of the monsters pretty tight that way aren't bullshit. And I do really like the monsters, and even the one I can't, or at least don't really enjoy the fight of, I can enjoy the ecology, armor, and weapons. Now, speaking of weapons and armor, great segue, huh? Anyway, I thought the weapons and armor were pretty cool when I first started playing Monster Hunter. Then I played Rise, and I played Wilds a bit, and I played GU, and I have to say, they really dropped the ball here. Less so with the armor, but man, the weapons are just like playing D2 again with the recycled models and the slap on, just like, oh yeah, this, put a monster bit on it. While it's cool in theory, it just doesn't look as good. And I really wish Xenojiva got like better weapons and armor, since again, I really like the monster. So damn cool. Anyway, the armor is pretty cool, and but for the most part, nothing really like stood out to me like in the other games. And again, oh, I should mention that I'm talking specifically about the female armor because I have like one save. Not gonna bother going through the entire game again. And yeah, I know more about the female armor because that's what I play with. Anyway, when it comes to the armors that I do like, I'm pretty much a basic bitch, you know. I like your Zenogas, your Nagakugas, your Kirins, your Namios. Now, on to other parts of the game. First up, the end game grind, which to me is the grinding lands and deco farming. Let's start with the decos. Decos are decorations, whichever you prefer. I don't like them. I don't like the fact that they are random. I just don't like the idea that I might never get the deco that I need. Like, I like things being deterministic, you know? Handcrafted decos would be so much better. Yeah, I know the monster drops aren't deterministic or like, you know, they're also random, but you can sort of influence those by breaking certain parts of the monsters and investigations giving you a higher chance, as well as just straight up crafting a bunch of the parts with the celestial wyvern print or wyvern ticket or whatever it's called. I would like all decos to be craftables, like single skill ones and the multi-skill ones. But I feel at the very least all the single skill ones should be craftable. Like in Rise. That's so much better. And next is the grinding lands. Or the guiding lands, whichever you prefer. That the guiding lands is just so impenetrable, man. The augments don't tell you what you need. You just like need to go out and hunt, and if you get what you need, then oh yeah, you gotta like get that thing. What do you need for health regen? Oh, I'm not gonna tell you. Gotta hunt it. It doesn't even tell you like how to get like tempered monsters. Just gotta keep grinding, and then suddenly you have the shit. It's it's just I guess it's just not for someone like me who likes to like, you know, I have something to work towards and I know what I'm doing to work towards it. Guiding lands is just I'm gonna throw you in here and I gotta figure it out. At least, I mean, thank goodness that they have lures so that we can actually lure the monster that we want. God, it'd be so much more painful if that wasn't like, it'd be so much more painful to get anything done in that place if that wasn't the case, huh? Next, let's talk about our furry little friends. I love the palicos, and I like to take them with me on my hunts. But unfortunately, I also like my friends, and can't have more than one friend if you want to take your palicos with you. Oh wait, Rise allows you to do this, and that's why Rise is the better game. Anyway, all jokes aside, I really like the Falco system in World. I like the fact that you have to upgrade your Falcos by doing quests with other Falcos that are out in the world, and that's really cool. I still, even compared to that, I still would prefer the system that we have in Rise or Wilds, where you can just sort of either have multiple Falcos who specialize in different things, or one Falco who kind of does everything. But, I will take my cat, however. The Clutch Claw is just the worst. Having to do weakness every so often is just like, here, play stop hunting to do the mechanic. And kind of breaks the flow of the hunt, at least for me. And it's not even something that you can just ignore if you want to. They've made it like they've made it something that you really have to engage with if you want to deal even average damage. It's just really annoying. The wall bangs, on the other hand, are very cool, and they should bring that back. Slinger is a pretty cool idea, although I feel it's underused with like its limited usefulness outside of Lava Seoth or Baroth or whatever. And honestly, could have been used much better. Maybe say Dragon Pods having very high Elder Seal, unless they do, and I just don't know about it. That would be really good. Like, make it something that you can achieve otherwise pretty easily, and make this a shortcut to that. And yeah, be so much better. I like the idea that you need to prep for your hunt before the hunt. And the fact that you can enter a tent whenever and just restock kinda diminishes that a little bit, but thankfully for me, I can just ignore that. And therefore it isn't a problem for me. On a bit of a side tangent, I don't get why more people don't do this. I mean, I hear a lot of people complain about, oh, how the new games have added X quality of life thing and now the game is too easy or it's lost its soul or whatever. I mean, if it's too easy, just don't use the mechanic. Ignore it. Let the people who like the stuff use it and you don't use it. Remember, it's always easier to make the game harder for yourself than it is to make the game easier for yourself, in general. Yeah, without using mods or stuff like that. Anyway, back to the prep thing. It's really nice that you need or at least that you should technically look at what monster you're fighting, equip the correct res stuff, get your antidotes and nullberries if you need them, and kind of sort of work towards fighting the monster, like preparing for the monster that you're going to fight. I think this is a bit more true in lower rank and earlier on when you don't know the game as much. Because later on you can just beat your head against a monster, which is a bit disappointing, but it's still quite fun to do it regardless. I'm not going to talk about the maps too much because they're pretty cool and I don't know what more to say about it apart from sometimes I get lost in them, and Ancient Forest is way too complicated to be a first map. Jesus, man, simplify it a bit. The rest of the maps, damn cool. Okay, I rarely get lost in any of the other maps. Maybe the Rotten Vale a little bit, and the bottom areas. But apart from that, the rest of the maps are fantastic. Allow the kind of monsters to interact with the maps pretty good. Really like them. Well, those are things that I like and dislike about the game. Overall, I think it's a really good game, except for the combat, which I still feel could be different. But that's just because I don't like it, and I'm probably not the target player for this combat style, since a lot of other people like it. The monsters are great, the designs The move sets are mostly good with some very few bullshit ones. The damage scales a bit too much in my opinion. Monster damage, not hunter damage. I couldn't care less about hunter damage. The armor is pretty good. Weapons should be better. Build crafting is okay. I realize I didn't talk about that, but yeah, it's nice. The grind is shit. The fatty is the best in slot once you get everything, so kind of makes the other weapons a bit useless, but I guess that's okay since he's the final boss. That would be nice to kind of like, anyway, fatty's pretty good though. Fun fight, no, who am I kidding? I hated it. So annoying. The only reason I ever got through was because my friend. Shout out to Lappy. Anyway, yeah, so a good game could be better for me at least. And would love to fight all these monsters in the same environments or different environments with like the wilds or rise combat. Yeah. And if you're still here, thanks for watching or listening. If you like the video, then give it a like, give it a sub if you like hearing random dude's opinion. In any case, your viewership is more than enough. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.